major distribution, major accumulation. Everyone's a genius when, the market's going up, is because it truly is that easy to make money. It's so easy that, it eludes the minds of many. You just got to buy dips and be patient enough to ride those dips up. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In this video, we're going to talk about the idea that you are never quite too late to buy into a coin. In fact, this is something that I believe holds back a lot of people, because especially if a coin has already pumped by, let's say, 50 to 100%, they almost feel like they're too late to get in on the trend, but then they will continue to see that coin pump by another 500% or even 1000% after the fact. And guys, before I get into this video, you don't know who I am. My name is Shwen, and I'm currently on a mission to create the world's best trading education suite by making trading easy for everyone. So this idea came to me with not only the recent pump that you're seeing on crypto right now, but also the fact that right now in the Gold Coast in Australia, the temperature pretty much dropped from 25 degrees, 26 degrees during the day to about 21, 22 degrees during the day. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that, well, I was inspired by this temperature change to make this video. And it's basically the fact that I've been here for about 2 months now, and I'm a huge fan of swimming in the ocean in general, because it helps to get your body grounded. So if you're following the health space, you know that there's this thing called grounding when you have your bare feet or your bare skin in contact with natural surfaces, such as dirt or sand or the ocean in this case. Then the frequency that the earth releases heals you. This reduces inflammation a lot. This reduces inflammation in your brain. It promotes blood flow into the brain. Like, it just heals your body. There's a reason why you feel so great when you walk in nature or have, bare skin in contact with nature. And when I first got to the Gold Coast, I knew that the temperature was going to go down over the next couple months during my stay here. So within the first month of arriving here, I would go swimming a lot. Like, every single day, I would wake up and go straight to the ocean. And then one day, the temperature fell from like 28, 29 degrees during the day to about 25, to where it got slightly chilly. And mind you, for the people that are watching who are from cold countries like Canada or Northern Europe or like really North America, like, I get it, 25 degrees Celsius is not much for you, but coming from Malaysia, that is quite, for me, it was refreshingly chilly, right? And when it dropped to 25 degrees, I remember like maybe going swimming once a week, like at most, because, I felt like I was getting too cold, and especially with how big the wind is in the Gold Coast, like, it gets pretty chilly, especially if you're in the water. So what I didn't realize was that the temperature would drop again. And now that it's dropped, I'm sort of regretting the fact that I didn't go swimming more often when it was like 25 degrees, because even though it was, chilly back then, it is now uncomfortably chilly with the temperatures hovering between 20 and 21 degrees. And so this brings back a very important lesson of how, a lot of people tend to approach the markets, which is, if you see a coin that's already pumped, you feel like you're too late. But it's rarely the case, because we're in a bull market right now. And in a bull market, prices always go exponentially higher, and they tend to do so for a very long period of time before any sort of significant retracement. In fact, in a bull market, you might not even get a significant retracement. So I just wanted to talk about, this phenomenon and kind of a reason that it happens. And I think it has a lot to do with how our brains are programmed after living in society for very long. Firstly, when it comes to just life in general, if you were to, for example, go to a supermarket right now and you would see an apple being sold for like $200 US, you're probably not going to buy that apple because, well, it's completely overpriced towards what your normal idea of how an apple or how much an apple should cost is way above that, right? So that's expensive. But at the same time, if you head to the supermarket right now and you see, top quality oranges being sold at 10 cents per orange, you're probably going to buy a few, even if you're not able to finish all the oranges within the next few days, because, well, it's a bargain, right? Why wouldn't you? But here's the thing, like, the markets doesn't work the same way, in a sense that there is only really 2 states, or either 3 states, or either 4 states that the market can be in at any given point. It's either in an uptrend, either in a downtrend, or it's in a consolidation, or it's in a retracement period, right? That's the only 4 things that a market can do. And the thing about bull markets is that any sort of rational concept about fair value or like a good price should be thrown completely out the window if you want to make it in this market. Like, just to give you an example, just Dogecoin and Shiba alone holds about $50 or $60 billion worth of market cap as of the time that I'm recording this video. And according to UN estimates, you can feed world hunger, right? You can solve world hunger with about $30 billion worth, like, per year, right? That's all it takes to solve world hunger. It makes absolutely no sense why 2 dog coins has enough market cap to solve world hunger for 2 years in a row. It doesn't make sense. And that brings me on to my next point, which is that crypto is by nature a very irrational market. And I feel like a lot of people, including myself when I first started this journey, and I see this still to this day with a lot of the newest students that I coach, that they fall prey to basically trying to apply rational thinking into an irrational market. In their minds, they always have this notion of like fair value and, oh, this is too expensive now. Oh, this is, cheap. That's why I'm going to buy it, just to see that coin drop by another 40-50% from that point onwards. So I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to teach you guys is to let go of the notion that, that you're too late, because it's never really the case. And you see this a lot with even just yourself. If you think back to how many trades you could have made so much money on, but you didn't get in because you saw it already pump straight up, that's one of the examples. And on the inverse side of the equation, think back to how many examples you've had where even though it's pumped straight up because it was a good token and it was having a very good narrative and it was one of the leaders, the bull run, you just bought in. Doesn't really matter that it's already pumped like 75% from the lows. You bought in, boom, right? You go for another 7x. And that's a lesson that I really want to impart to you. Bull markets last a lot longer than you think, and bull markets are a lot more rational than you think. In fact, here's just a general rule of thumb that you can use, a practical tip that you can use to time, or not to time, but to ensure that you're not getting in right at the top, to which point you will get absolutely wrecked, especially if you don't have a stop loss, which most of you watching this video, I hope you do, but guarantee you half the people watching this video probably don't take trades with a stop loss, and that's a terrible idea. I'm just going to put it out there for now, but I'm going to cover the stop loss in another video. But for now, let's just talk about the practical tip, which is most macro movements in a market tend to take between 3 to 6 months play out. And this has a lot to do with the traditional markets, just like how you have company quarterly earnings reports every quarter, and you have seasons, which lasts, 3 months, which is a quarter. The thing about the markets is that these market makers have programmed the algorithms to pretty much deliver major movements over the course of about 3 to 6 months. And you can just add like a plus minus 30 days to that quarterly number. So if you go back to any chart right now, like for example, just go onto Bitcoin. I'm recording this on my phone, so I can't really share my screen. If I could, I would. But if you just go onto Bitcoin, for example, and you start calculating from the moment any moves begin to the moment moves end, they tend to take between 60 to 120 days to play out, which is around that, quarterly number plus minus 30. And the way that this tip is going to be useful for you is that if you're in the market and let's say the market has whatever asset that you're looking at right now has pumped by, 200% over the last 3 weeks, given the fact that, as a rule of thumb, these macro movements or like these major movements, and in a bull market, these major movements most of the time are pumps, that they last anywhere between 60 to 120 days. And you can just be certain, like, okay, given the fact that it's only started like 3 weeks ago, I'm probably not too late yet. And similarly, if you are looking at a coin and it's already pumped straight up for over the course of the last, say, 110 days or something, you probably shouldn't get it, right? This is just a rule of thumb, but it becomes even more powerful when you pair it with the net concept, which is the idea that most of you are thinking way too small when it comes to bull markets. And this is a mistake that costs a lot of people a lot of money, especially if this is your first cycle. You do not fathom the amount of gains or just how crazy things can get. Just to give you an example, most people, when they start getting into crypto, they are looking for, a 2x, right? 100% gain or a 50% gain. And they're like super happy with that. And it's to be expected because if you come from any normal kind of market condition, if you do 50% on your stocks for the year, like that's a great year. Like that's a year that comes once every 10 or 20 years. But in crypto, you get 50% in like 2 days. And it happens multiple times a week and, it happens many times. And so when you're in crypto and if you want to succeed in crypto, you got to recondition your mind. And it comes back to what I was talking about before about rational reasoning. Like you don't want to apply what is normal to crypto because this is not normal, right? It's not rational. And the way that this is going to be practical for you is instead of thinking in terms of 100% or 200%, I want you to think in terms of one order of magnitude higher. Meaning if you're always thinking in terms of 100%, try thinking in terms of 1000%. Because if you look back at the coins that truly outperform the markets, all of them go up like one move at a, like every move that drives it higher is like 10x or like 5x or like 20x sometimes. And that's sort of the mindset that you want to adopt if you want to win in crypto. If you're in a case where, let's say, it's only started pumping for a month and it's only went up by like 200%, well, given the fact that you know these two pieces of information, now you can understand that, number one, you're probably not too late in terms of a time frame perspective. But number two, you're probably not not too late in terms of a price, magnitude perspective. And once you pair both of these together, it becomes really powerful. On the inverse side of the equation, if both factors are not adding up to the fact that, this is probably a good time to buy into this coin right now, then, just hold off. Because guess what? Major retracements, like if you study the retracements or if you study the major consolidation periods, they also between 60 to 120 days. And in terms of a bull market, let me just give you a rule of thumb, especially if this is your first cycle, or even if this is your second cycle and you've never studied this before. Most major retracements, especially for Bitcoin, usually last between 20 to 40%. Now, on the very, very off chance you're going to get like a 50% retracement, usually that doesn't happen. Like that happens once in a blue moon. And the period that it takes for this to happen is, again, either 1 quarter or 2 quarters. So that's between 60 to 120 days, or in the off chance that this is going to be like some kind of distribution, or this is going to be some kind of accumulation, major distribution, major accumulation, then yeah, sure, like it's going to take longer. But that's Bitcoin. So you're looking at anywhere between a 20 to 40% retracement. And this is a pro tip, by the way, in a bull market. The reason why there's the phrase that says that everyone's a genius when, the market's going up is because it truly is that easy to make money. Crypto, especially if you're trading crypto in a bull run, it's so easy that, it eludes the minds of many, because we all think that this is some super complicated thing that we have to spend like 12 hours a day looking at the charts, going in and out of different coins. But in reality, you just got to buy dips and be patient enough to ride those dips up higher. And that's quite literally it. And so here's the practical way that you can use the information that I just gave you. Number one, given the fact that that these major retracements last between 20 to 40%, and also the fact that you now know the time frame that it takes for these major retracements to finish, guess what? You can buy your dips between the 20 to 40% range, especially if the price action also adds up to the fact that, hey, retracement might be over. You get in, boom, magic internet money. And truly, it is as simple as that, right? It's a lot less hard than people believe it to be. And on the flip side, let's talk about altcoins for a moment. Now, in terms of altcoins, the general range that I like to buy, and I'm talking about like these are like brain dead purchases where as long as these conditions are met, you buy instant, like it's just automatic money as long as you hold for like 3 to 6 months, which again is the time frame that I told you. So in terms of altcoins, you want to look for, on a large cap, it's usually between 30 to 50% in terms of major retracements. In terms of your altcoins, or like the mid caps and the low caps, the range that you're looking at is either between 50 to 70%. And so you pair time frame, you pair the percentage retracement that you should expect. By the way, you can see this from just some of my old videos that I posted like a month or two ago, where when the market was like 60, 70% down, I just like, hey guys, just buy here. You're gonna come back in a month and it's automatically gonna make you money. Sure. Is this gonna take quite a long while? Yeah, sure. This is how macro movements work. Usually it takes a period of about 3 to 4 months. And it just so happens that in about 3 months, it's gonna be the Bitcoin halving and the bull market is going to kickstart again. And that has been the case, right? As long as the criteria are met, most of the bags that I called in past videos are up either between 50 to up to, at the moment, it's up anywhere between 50% to about 125%. So it's truly as simple as that. You just and the reason why you might be struggling so much to pull the trigger is like nobody's ever educated you on this before. And it's really anxious to do something if you don't really know what's going to happen next. I know that there's nothing certain about the financial markets. In fact, if there is one thing that's certain about the financial markets, it's the fact that it is never certain. So I hope that this video has given you a pretty good idea on what to expect, not only in terms of crypto, but like this pretty much just gives you a simple step-by-step guide on not only overcoming that mindset of you're too late, but also a step-by-step instruction on what to do in order to make really easy money catching pumps on crypto. And by the way, if you are someone that believes that crypto or trading is able to give you the freedom that you deserve to do whatever you want and to spend your time however you'd like, but cannot for the life of you figure out how to make this work consistently, then I urge you to check out the first link in the description box below. Don't worry, it's not some $997 course. It's just a website where I tell you about the service that I provide to help you overcome these problems. Like, you don't have to click. In fact, I don't really mind if you click or not, but for those that this is relevant to, and if you would like some help fast tracking the learning curve when it comes to trading, then click the first link in the description box below. Otherwise, if you found value from this video, drop a like. It truly makes my day. And if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe. And if you want me to make a video on a topic that you would like covered, drop it down in the description box below. Sorry, comments section below. Otherwise, I'm really thankful that you decided to spend your time with me today, and I'm wishing you a blessed day. Cheers.